comes to Facebook, well, Facebook's been around for quite some time. I think we know if you don't have a Facebook account, you know somebody else who has a Facebook account, and it seems to be a place where, you know, people go to have a profile to connect with their family and friends and post pictures. But it's also a place that businesses go to when it comes to ads that they create and generate on Facebook to make sure that they're branding themselves, they're able to get somewhat of a market share by putting the ads in front of targeted consumers. But now, for the first time, it seems that Facebook advertisers are starting to shift spending, and this is something that Facebook hasn't dealt with since it became the major platform to be on when it comes for ad buys. Now, Meta, which is the parent company for Facebook and Instagram, said that this was essentially going beyond the economic slum, and not saying that it's due to inflation or potentially a recession around the corner, but saying that it's the first time where the need for a must buy on Facebook is shifting as those dollars are going somewhere else for the first time. Whereas before, when it came to a company's marketing budget, well, regardless of the economic downturn or where things were at, Facebook was always a must buy to be able to put their messaging out there and their branding, even when it comes for political entities and candidates and political parties. Facebook was always a must, because what can you do? You can geo-target the location when it comes to, in Canada's case, postal code, in America, the zip code, the geographic location, and then the age group, and then the gender, and everything in between, and what they're interested in, to be able to get in front of your target market. But now that is changing, and Meta is expecting to lose market share for the first time this year. And this is something that CEO and creator Mark Zuckerberg and founder Mark Zuckerberg is saying, that this situation is one of the worst downturns that they've seen in recent history. And that's his quote, saying that this is also something that's experienced in the digital ad sector, which also Google, Twitter, Snap are also facing a slowdown in growth as well. Now, what it seems is that more advertisers are not just increasingly willing to diversify away from Meta, the parent company, which would be for Facebook, but even though this is for the first time, there's a shift for the company historically, what they felt like they should spend their ad dollars on. And this is why Facebook was able to get away from any data breach or scandal after scandal, because as long as the ads performed well, businesses weren't going to go anywhere. And that's what Facebook always relied on. So no matter what the investigations were, the data breach, if you recall the after the presidential elections that took place in Cambridge Analytica, in terms of how users' data was being used and distributed, and all the allegations and things that Facebook has gone through. Well, it survived because businesses just felt that it's a must to spend on Facebook. And so this is what Facebook is dealing with when it comes to what they could forecast for their revenue and growth. And they're saying that this is a scenario that they haven't dealt with. And when it comes to forecasting what Meta's share of global net online advertising revenue will be, well, it'll be a decline, and the decline starts here in 2022 as things have absolutely changed. Now, when it comes to Facebook, they're saying that it's been harder hit than other apps by Apple's privacy updates last year that essentially dented advertisers' ability to target and measure the effectiveness of their ads. And that's something that Apple's been very front of mind for, saying that we do not need your data, we will protect your data. And that's how Apple has differentiated itself when it comes to companies like Google and Facebook that rely on users' data to be able to sell it to third-party and advertisers. And that's essentially how most of their revenue comes from, whereas Apple's revenue does not come from using their users' data to generate revenue. Rather, it's from their products and their services. So now Google is also experiencing some of that as its core business is search, but it's also when it comes to the users that they have. And that's why Google ads have been so popular for a really long time when it comes to small businesses. Now, it is speculated that when it comes to small to medium-sized businesses, that they'll still rely on Facebook when it comes to ad and making sure that there is a portion of the overhead dedicated to marketing over Facebook. But what that means in the long term, it's it's not known. Now, Google, Meta, Amazon for years have taken every dollar of incremental ad spending to use. But when it comes to TikTok and Apple, they're actually on track to gain more market share. And TikTok being the new entrant in the social media world, well, it's giving a run to Meta when it comes to users, when it comes to when it comes to ad dollars as well. And Facebook, along with Snap and Google's YouTube, well, they're experiencing the downturn right now. And it'll be very interesting to see where this goes, as Meta has billions of dollars of cash on hand compared to other companies that are newer, like TikTok. Even though it's growing and gaining some market share when it comes to ad revenues, TikTok has come under fire recently because of its data practices and its, of course, ties to China. Has come under scrutiny at the highest level and the political pressures that are there. So what does it mean for TikTok if their ad revenues do decline, like in Meta's case? Whereas in Meta, well, it has billions of dollars of cash on hand. That is estimated to be about $43 billion of cash equivalents, and marketable securities on balance sheet. And that was as of Q1 of this year. So there is a cushion for the impact in case there is a downturn in online and ad spending.